Inshallah, this report will be on the East African Drought aid work, presented by myself, Dr. Rahman, the Secretary of the EKDA, EKDA Development Association, which is a Scottish charity. The registration number is shown below there is 04294. Just for the benefit of those who don't know, during the month of Ramadan, we had a fundraising event for the reason of the drought in East Africa, and this is essentially just a report on that. So first of all, I'd just like to deliver amana from the people of the Drought and the people of Kisumu. We're very grateful for the donations that the brothers here made. May Allah reward you all, inshallah. So I'll just give a brief background of the EKDA, the EKDA Development Association. It was established in 2010. It's a Scottish charity, and it's mainly formed by Kenyan people who are mainly from Kenya, and it focuses in East Africa, although we also focus worldwide. Our aims is to advance communities through the prevention of relief and poverty, establishment of public amenities such as wells, and education, medical care, and sponsorship of other local charities. I say local, and inshallah we'll see the reason for this as we go along the talk. Okay, just to give a brief background of the Dadaab refugee camp, which is the focus of our efforts this year. It was established in the 90s during the first Somali civil war. And it has a capacity of 90,000 refugees, but now hosts over 400,000 refugees, and this number is rising on a daily basis. As you can see in the map there, it's quite close to the border of Somalia. This map here is the map of Kenya, and it's right at the west of Kenya, very close to the border of Somalia. And hence why a lot of Somalians come from there. Although we do have Somalians in the northeastern part of Kenya there. In fact, in history it says that the whole part of northeast Kenya was actually Somalia in the past. Okay, the Dadaab refugee camp is composed of 3 main sub-camps. Okay, Ifo, Degahle, and Hagedera. And Ifo is the largest due to its vicinity to the road, as you can see. Although let not that road fool you, it's not actually a road, it's more like gravel, and there's no actually one. It's just really not a road. It's just at some parts it's like three parts, and it takes really a long time to travel. It's not a road as we know it here in the UK. I'll just talk about the influx into the camp. As you can see here in this chart, we have 2 main rainy seasons in Kenya and East Africa in general. The first, the long rains in March to May, and then the shorter rains in November. Now, these rains have been failing, and I recall in 2007 when I last was in this area, it was quite bad at that point in time, and the rains never have quite really come back yet since that point in time. And this year was just like the last straw for many of the Somalians, who are mainly nomadic people, and they depend on the livestock, which in turn depends on the rains and the pastures. It was the last straw for many. And the Dadaab saw a sharp rise in June. Almost like 20 to 30,000 people went into the Dadaab refugee camp in June alone. Okay, roughly about 1,000 people arrive into the camp every day. It's mainly women and children. The men typically stay behind to protect what little is left. They're normally much stronger than the women. And for example, maybe they have a camel. Camels normally do stand the drought. Or maybe they have some land. If they leave, someone else might take the land. As you know, Somalia has no formal system, so they have to stay there. There's one gazetted route, the one that's shown in red, through Ligoi, but there are up to 9 other routes. And you might ask, why do people want to go through these other routes? One of the reasons is so as to avoid harassment by the authorities, which is quite sad. We do find some of the refugees do get harassed for money or for some other reasons, which is quite a sad thing. There are some really bad stories that we have heard. Okay. Next slide. The new arrivals, the ones who come quite fresh, they're the ones most in need. They typically live in tents such as this. some of the stats that come, like for example, I heard that up to 40% of children who come in have never been vaccinated. And this actually, it makes the situation prone to outbreaks. Okay, there's cholera, malnutrition. It's widespread. All these diseases are really widespread out there. And when I left, I went there about a month ago. When I left, there was actually a cholera outbreak at the point in time. Okay, so our response, as a Kenyan myself, it was an obligation for me to act, and I had a charity. I mean, I just couldn't bear the burden in my mind that I would just sit here and do nothing. I just had to act. And in July, after getting all the reports from the area, we decided to start fundraising somewhere in mid-July. And soon after that, our sister charity in Kenya, who we call the Drought Development Group, they also began soon after that. And alhamdulillah, we raised £22,000, and we sent this to Kenya, and it helped to fund 2 main expeditions. And the total supplies, or the money that we collected both here and in Kenya, it helped us to deliver almost more than 100 metric tons worth of mainly food and clothing. Alhamdulillah, this was quite an effort. Now, I just want to briefly tell you about the sister charity in Kenya. It's called the Drought Development Group, and it's based in Kisumu. As you can see, Kisumu is on the other side of Kenya. It's completely on the other side of Kenya. It was founded by the Imam of Kisumu Mosque, who is a personal friend of mine. And it has extensive experience of dawah in Kenya. Okay, they've been to the northern part of Kenya. They do dawah there, especially in Kisumu is their main base camp. They've also gone to the southern part of Kenya, and they have extensive experience in moving through Kenya and doing dawah. And they were quite inspired by, as I said, they soon started fundraising after us. So they were inspired by the fact that people all the way from Scotland were doing something. They were quite inspired by that. And they did do something small, but that actually hyped them up to do their efforts a lot more. Alhamdulillah, they're the ones that we work with in Kenya. Okay, the first expedition, we delivered 3 vehicles, one of which was completely a donation. Alhamdulillah, we had free transport on all the 3 vehicles that we had. But when I say vehicle, it's a trailer which has a capacity of up to about 27 tons. And I have put the statement of the vehicles that was sent for the first trip on the chart. And if you see, transport costs roughly about £1,500 from Kisumu to the Deb. So having free transport was quite an achievement. Alhamdulillah, this goes to say that the local knowledge, and just because of that, we were able to speak to brothers, and we were able to in the industry, and we were just able to donate for us their trucks free of charge. Alhamdulillah, it was quite an achievement, and I'm grateful for that, for the brothers for donating. And we sent over 75 tons worth of supplies. And the 3 trailers, first was put in Degahle, delivered in a masjid called Masjid Bukhari in the camp in Degahle. The second was delivered to Ifo Care, and the third was delivered to Masjid Haramain in Hagedera. And I've given the figures there for the supplies. You can find them also on the chart there as well. Okay. The second expedition of which I was present, we delivered 2 vehicles. Again, one was a donation. In fact, the one that we see there, it's actually smaller than a trailer. It's actually more of a truck. It was donated free of charge. And there was free transports yet again on all the 2 vehicles. And this time we sent 35 tons of food. This one here I think was about 12 tons, and the one that came after was a trailer. It was about 24 tons, 25 tons. Okay, the second expedition, this time both were delivered to Ifo. Okay? And we're still awaiting the figures, because when I left, we were still preparing the invoices and so on. So once those come over, the postage takes quite a while. Once they come over, we'll post them up as well, inshallah. Okay. At the camp, I just wanted to show you a few videos that I saw there. this is a video of the location where the new arrivals live in. E4, there is no sound, so don't worry about it, but there are subtitles, so you can read through as well. Okay, so this hosts the largest concentration of refugees in the area, of new arrivals in the area. So all these tents are mainly new arrivals. And the houses, as you can see, what I mentioned, they stretch for 2 kilometers all the way down to the end. As you can see, the situation is quite bad. And most of the people here, they came with little to nothing. Some of those huts there, for example, and entirely depending on aid. And this location has roughly, I would say, about 100, maybe 100,000 people. And every day they have to gain aid, and there are people coming every day as well. But mashallah, Somalian people are quite resilient, as you will see in the subtitle we have put in front here. I was quite surprised when I saw, even under such conditions, some brothers, there were some businesses that were starting up, which was actually encouraged me and triggered a lot of ideas that I had into my mind for the second phase of our project. As you can see here, there's a shop there and a tailor here. Tailoring was quite an important thing because people came, the only clothes they had was the ones on their back, and most of the time they were tarted completely. As you can see, the children here, there will be kids coming here just now. Okay. They're actually wearing oversized clothing, which is probably just as a result of the fact that they don't have much clothing. So. Again, for local distribution, for distribution, local knowledge was quite important. Here I'm the one who took this picture, and the man here, he's one of the main imams at the camp, and he's in charge of these three tents. It was provided to him by the World Food Program, WFP, because they realized that, as an imam, he has the outreach to the people across the entire camp, and can actually help them quite significantly in supporting its. So we have an interview going through at the moment, and we're actually creating a film. We're quite lucky. The gentleman here is a man from Film Aid, and he's actually on the ground at the moment. He's getting snippets here and there, and he's going to make a film for us, inshallah. And hopefully we will present it sometime, maybe at the end of this year, next year, inshallah. Okay. But again, this was all through local knowledge, and it was quite, because he's a Kenyan as well. Now, for the long term, the nomadic communities were quite devastated. Okay, they need rainfall for the green pastures, and projections suggest that the rain is still going to decline in the future. And that's a picture of a cow that we saw on the way. And it's quite a common scene to see cattle like this, almost everywhere.